my name is Chessen. I do social media and public outreach here at the Coffee Joint, and this is our first episode of Highly Educated, our new revamped multicast series where we are speaking to people in the cannabis industry about what they do best. So our first episode, we are so excited to have them here, is Bob and Tom from the Medically Correct Incredibles team. Thank you guys so much for coming.
I didn't realize this was the first episode.
This is of our revamped series. It is, absolutely.
Yes. We were talking out
Thank
there.
you.
He did this before back in the day with you guys.
Several years ago.
So
we're excited to have you back.
Well,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
So if you guys can just kind of introduce yourselves, tell us who you are and what you do for your company.
I'm Tom Eschino. I work with Medically Correct in the position of an account manager. So I help sell and market all of our products to the individual dispensaries here in the state of Colorado.
And I am Bob Eschino, co-founder and owner of Medically Correct. We have both been in the licensed, regulated cannabis space now for 11 years, and we are responsible for a number of very good brands here in the state and some across the country.
Walk me through a little bit of your history in this industry. How did you get your start, or how did Medically Correct come into being?
Oh boy.
Well,
Long question, I know.
Do you want to go back?
Well, yeah,
to
the reality
cannabis
is
introduction,
it's
or
Yeah.
So
do you want
Yeah,
to?
throw us all the way back.
You
Where
want
did
to go
it
way
start?
back?
Yeah.
Okay, we dive back into the childhood.
Mhm.
Well, actually, my brother started with cannabis and then introduced me to it. I was 14 years old.
oh wait, we're talking about that stuff.
Yeah.
I was
Wow.
well, I mean, we're
Now
going
I'm gonna
back
get in trouble if mom and dad watch this shit. Now
No.
I'm gonna be in trouble. Wait a
I'm not
minute.
gonna get in trouble, but it was funny because being an asthmatic at the time, I was a little concerned. Putting smoke into your lungs. But he said, it's okay. It's not going to be a big deal. And as it turns out, fast forward many years later, and cannabis actually saved me from an asthma attack. That I didn't have my inhaler or my medicine with me, but I had some cannabis, smoking a little bit of cannabis, and it calmed me down, opened my lungs, and it cured the asthma attack. So
Awesome. Yeah.
for me, cannabis kind of became medicine very quickly, when I was a teenager. So I, was kind of different as the other kids, no baggies for me. Being an asthmatic, I had plenty of pill bottles, so my medicine always went into my pill bottle because that's what I felt it was medicine. So I always carried it around in a pill bottle and
Ahead of the curve.
and I was well ahead of the curve. Some people got into the old, film canisters, but I stayed away from those. Not good with the stuff inside. So the pharmaceutical pill canister was the way to go. So anyway, that's kind of how things started in terms of an introduction to cannabis, and so I utilized it throughout my life, in a very medicinal way. So we fast forward to 2008, and I have a cookie company. And I'm making all sorts of different, flavors of cookies and selling them at farmers markets. And our industry here in the state is just really starting to bubble up and really starting to explode right about that time, and started getting a whole lot of inquiries and recommendations to infuse my cookies. Not having done it before, I decided to go ahead and dabble with that a little bit. Started making some butter and started making my cookies, and the things that we've learned over the last 11 years is amazing. I mean, I'm trying to melt cannabis into a butter, and then I'm trying to put it into a cookie, and the two things kind of don't meet, because as a cookie maker, you don't want to over mix your dough. But from a cannabis medicine standpoint, you need to emulsify the medicine within the product in order to get it to be consistent. So consistency was an issue I dealt with, where I'd give a cookie to somebody, there'd be nothing. I'd give another cookie to somebody else, and they couldn't get off the floor. And,
Right.
and I'm like, okay, so
That's
this is
the
not
issues with edibles 12
Yeah,
years ago.
right. So I'm just like, this is not working. What am I going to do? But also at that time, our grandmother, unfortunately, wasn't doing all that great. She's on a lot of pharmaceutical drugs, had, diabetic neuropathy, had some pain, and with these medications, mentally she just kind of wasn't there much more. And so I fed her a cookie, and the change was just tremendous, and then fed her some more cookies. And so that is what inspired Bob to actually, think about a company and putting it together. And so, we got her medical card. I became her caregiver, and then, Bob at this point can take it from there because he had some history with some of the other founders, and then.
Yeah, at the time I owned a packaging company, so I sold packaging to companies all over the state, and one of them was a big bakery here in town. And my current partner now, Rick, ran that bakery and always said that he could do things there, cost plus 35%. So as I watched my grandmother receive relief from cannabis, that's when the light bulb went off for me. I'm like, holy crap, it is medicine, right? I'm watching it work now.
It's medically correct.
Yeah, it is medically correct. So I watched it work for my grandmother, and went and talked to Rick about it. And at first he thought I was crazy, and after him doing a little bit of research, he was kind of sold on it as well after seeing the relief that my grandmother was getting. And at that time, House Bill 1284 was coming out. So, we've done a lot of research and thought if we could sell 200 edibles a week, that, it'd be a nice little side business.
Sure.
Then 1284 came out and said we had to have a standalone kitchen. So we decided, well, let's go out and get a license, and let's see if we can make this work. We got a license and walked down to the bank and went, we need a checking account. And they went, what are you, crazy? And, walked to some buildings and went, hey, we need a kitchen. And they went, for cannabis? What, are you crazy? We're standing there with a license to make legal, regulated cannabis in the state of Colorado, and nobody would give you the tools in order to do that. And 12 years later, we are still struggling with those same issues. They still have not been resolved, on a federal level. And people are a little bit more accepting, but we're still constantly fired from vendors. And, there are certain vendors who still don't know we're a cannabis company because we're not confident they would still work with us if we told them that we were cannabis. So, but that's how I got into the industry, is just seeing it work. And once you see that, you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Right.
Once you truly see it work and the light bulb goes off, you feel like you need to share that. You need to let people know. You need to help people. You need to, and that's really where this company came into being, and it's still where we are today, which is patient-centric, and how do we help people, and how do we get good quality medicine to people, and to patients. And it's the same on the adult use side. Everybody who's taking it, even for a recreational reason, is still getting benefits whether they know it, believe it, or not. I think we in the industry know you're getting some benefits that you're not getting from anything else when you're consuming cannabis.
Absolutely. And you mentioned kind of that growth that's happening despite the constraints that are put on you by the industry and the government. Medically Correct, as I have here, are available in over 400 locations in Colorado. So how have you guys handled that growing while also working within the constraints that you've been having to face?
We've been industry leaders, really, from almost the beginning. When it comes down to it, really, we help to kind of mold a lot of, the regulations and the things that we're currently dealing with. The testing standpoint, interesting kind of thing. But for us, it was a necessity. It wasn't, an extra cost of doing business. It was,
that was the business.
It was the business. You were dispensing medicine, and so we had to know as best as we could, that we're providing what we say we're providing. So we've been testing the product from the beginning. We helped, develop a lot of the stuff with the testing, and then just moving forward, making sure that each piece is what we say it is. Then we started to stamp that milligram dose on each piece, so everybody would know that
before it was regulated.
That is where, well, right, and then because of what we did, then the state said, we like that.
Oh,
we
yeah.
need to do that.
Everybody
And
needs
now
to do
everybody
that.
needs to do that. And so that's, some of the things, that we've done, from the beginning. But it's just a matter of, continuing to do the right thing, and you're gonna be okay. And I think for us, it's really born out of what we've done. I mean, we've stayed consistent, and we've done the right thing, and we've seen sales go up, we've seen some sales go down, we've seen our sales go back up, come down, come back up. We're at a very nice consistent line moving forward, but we've seen many companies come and go over the years, and those that are doing the right thing have the staying power. And if you come in and try to cut corners and not do things correctly, then I think you find it's difficult to stay around.
Absolutely.
The old frog in the boiling water analogy. We've been in this boiling water for so long, it's a hot tub now. We're just used to the constant changes and rules and regulations and having to pivot. I tell people, don't ever get comfortable, because it's going to change. Something is going to happen.
Oh yeah.
And it has been nonstop for over 11 years now.
And right now, tomorrow, we're facing 2 propositions on the ballot for extra tax on our product, and it's frustrating.
Vote no on both of those, just
Please,
in case it comes out.
I'm sorry.
For tomorrow.
Vote no.
119 and what's the other?
300.
300. 119 and 300. Please vote no. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of the low-hanging fruit. We're the easy target to go after now in terms of taxing to try to benefit other, entities. And
You're gonna kill the golden goose. Though.
Yeah, you have to. You got to be careful in terms of what you do, because once once the legal industry becomes overpriced, then that black market will grow again to.
And it's still here.
Extra proportions.
I tell regulators now, every person who bought cannabis the first day it was legal had a guy's number in his phone where he was buying cannabis the day before. And those people are all still here, and those people are all still available. And if we push the products to a point where they become unaffordable, the guy down the street is still making them. And his quality's gotten better over the last 10 years as well, because there's a good possibility he came into the industry, learned a lot of stuff, and went back. So the reality is we didn't create a cannabis market. We've regulated it. We've allowed it, to be taxed and generate revenue. We've created jobs. We've done everything we said we were going to do. We made it safer for people who really want to safely consume cannabis, and the products are more accurate and safer than they've ever been right now in history. That being said, you still have to keep them affordable. The reason you don't make alcohol in your bathtub is because you can walk down the street and get any size, flavor, potency of alcohol cheaply. So there's no incentive for somebody to be making alcohol at their house and selling it and trying to make a job out of it. That's still not the case here in cannabis. And when you can go over a state line, and triple your money, that's the things that need to change at the federal level. That's the things that need to change so we can have right now the only thing we've done is make, I think, 34 states. We've made 34 different industries. We haven't made a cannabis industry. We've made 34 different industries in different states. And as soon as it changes on the federal level, now we can be a real business. We can get a normal tax rate. We can get access to business tools that we haven't had for 11 years. And we will build a true industry here in the US where you're not growing cannabis indoors in northern climates. You're growing cannabis where cannabis should be grown, and you're processing, and you're moving oil or you're moving flower across the country to distribution hubs or manufacturing hubs, and just like any normal industry. And we're going to get there eventually. Hopefully it comes sooner than later, but right now it's still a struggle, and we still fight every day. Right? We saw they're going to put edibles in your Halloween bags again, over the weekend. It's like, oh my God, it's
careful of those gummies.
Never happened, and that's we still fight that fight. You know, we've just fought 1317 where they tried to ban potency on extracts and they tried to ban high potency extracts. It's like, until you ban Everclear, right? It's not about banning, it's about education.
Right.
Here's what you're getting into. Here's what it is. Well, we got to keep this out of the hands of kids. Well, no shit.
Yeah. Right.
They shouldn't illegally have it anyways, but that's not an industry problem. That's your kids are doing illegal things problem, right? That's a illegal drug dealer problem that we want to stop as well. We want to stop people from selling, you know, cannabis to kids. That's why we're here, because we want you to be 21. We want you to come in. And, you know, if you're a medical patient, great. But if you don't have a medical reason under the age of 21 to consume cannabis, don't. Wait until you legally can consume it. But capping the potency, making it illegal, you know, doing all these things, it doesn't stop the issue. Your drug dealer is still going to be a drug dealer. And if you take it out of the hands of regulated companies, it's going to go back to the black market, which is where we don't want it either.
Right. It's all about economics.
Right.
I mean, if I can walk down to the store and buy an eighth of product for $25, right, and my black market dealer is $50, I'm going to the store and buying my $25.
Absolutely.
But if it's the other way around and I'm going and spending $50 at the store for a $25 eighth I can get from my man next door, I'm gonna go next door for the $25. I mean, it's economics, you know. I'm not gonna walk the extra mile and go to the store to buy it if it costs me more. And so, you know,
That's the game we play.
If we get to that federal level, then it gives you the opportunity with economies of scale to get to a point where you can produce very high quality products at a very reasonable price. And then it becomes an industry, a 21 and over industry, or, you know, without a medical card.
Right.
Right? So the medical side of it is still there for anyone under 21, and then over 21, you know, you can still, you know, get medical products, but you can also consume it recreationally.
And we're sitting in one of the, how many consumption clubs are there in the state?
We're technically the first legal public consumption lounge.
The first, yeah.
So, but not many. I would say less than 10.
Right.
That's half the problem as well, right?
Absolutely.
We did a great job at legalizing everything but the actual consumption.
Yes.
Legalizing the cultivation,
you can have
the
it, but
sale,
where?
the possession. You can
Right.
do all of those things, but we forgot that part of consuming.
Right.
And we didn't write that in and say,
Yes.
this is what you can do and what you can't do.
Right.
And so, you know, that part of it needs to be, you know, remedied as well.
Absolutely. And in a safe environment where, you know, yeah, absolutely.
We want people to be safe. We want them to have safe products. We want them to be able to consume safely. That's all part of the fight we're still having.
So in terms kind of that fight and of kind of the, as you say, the game that you're playing in this industry, what do you think it is about your companies that has allowed your companies to remain industry leaders?
Quality, consistency, and really ingenuity and staying on that front edge, right? You know, I know we want to talk about some of the new brands, but those new brands came from customer feedback. You know, we had one of the largest and most popular brands in the country, right? And we are the manufacturers of Incredibles, and you know, that's where we started, and that's our baby. You know, but through that time, people asked for, hey, well, you know, how about a little higher end chocolate? Okay, you know, it didn't necessarily make sense to take, you know, that product and change the chocolate, right? People love this product as it is. So, you know, we looked at, okay, how do we do something new and different and try to satisfy that market segment? You know, people were asking for fast acting products, and okay, so how do we come out with a line of fast acting products where, you know, the people who are looking for that effect can have it? You know, with our extracts brand, and then, you know, we've got a new kind of an entry level brand that's going to be coming out here by the end of the year to help people who are on a budget, because we've seen that now with COVID for the last, you know, almost a year and a half now. People are hurting for funds and money, right? So we wanted to come out with a line to help those patients as well. So we continue to see what's needed in the marketplace, right? And we continue to take the feedback from our customers and their customers, right? Our customers are the dispensaries, and then their customers are the end users. So we take that feedback from both of those groups, and that helps steer us in the direction of what we're going to do next month, 6 months from now, and a year from now. Mm-hmm. Which is why we've launched, the new brands that we've launched. They're for the consumers. They're things that we were asked to do, and we still wanted to help.
If I would love to talk about Nova, if you have anything to add to
Nove.
that.
Yeah.
Nove.
It's Nove.
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 Yeah.
Yes, there is an accent. That's totally my problem.
No.
Yeah, I just tried one of these before we started recording. Absolutely delicious.
Thank you.
Talk to me a little bit about what the process was of developing this new brand. What was your intention? What did you want to do?
Well, competition.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, continuing to compete. And so, there was that market of, those higher end chocolates and whatnot. And we felt that we could provide a delicious, higher end luxury type product for a better price. And
our chefs are classically trained, right? We have chocolatiers on staff, so we have the skill level. We have the ability to do these things where we had to buy the right equipment. We brought in, a very expensive chocolate line from overseas during a pandemic, which was interesting to say the least, getting training, getting replacement parts, to getting the actual units here. But over the last couple of years, we've been able to put together a high-end filled chocolate bar that people tell me is, they want to buy them uninfused. It is, from what I hear, the best tasting chocolate on the market, infused chocolate on the market. And that's high praise from this market, right? From people who have been eating infused chocolates for 10 years. People that we know and respect in the industry tell us, oh my God, these are amazing, right? So we're so happy that it turned out the way it did. Our R&D staff worked for years, literally, to get this product where it needed to be. The plant-based gummies are the same way, right? We've worked for years to get this recipe correct, and then it was, okay, how do we do something just a little bit different? A gummy's a gummy. Well, flavor profile is huge, right? Especially in the adult use side, flavor is the number one decision-making, thought from the adult use community. And so we wanted to make products that tasted great. And you just
my goodness.
You tried the lemon rose,
Yeah.
and we've got the chili mango, and we've got blueberry basil, and we've got a cloudberry matcha gummy. All of these have kind of exotic dustings, the sugar dustings on the outside, so that was, they all have fruit puree in them, so you can taste, it's got real fruit.
I need a bag of these. This is so good.
So it has real fruit in it, and the coatings are a little bit unique, right? So we've done something to try to set us apart and make it really the best tasting products on the market. And with Josh, our executive chef, and Peyton, and Rick and his food manufacturing background, that's our wheelhouse, right? Taking food, making it taste good, and then duplicating that recipe thousands of times a day. That's how we got into the industry, and that's still what we're good at.
Yeah. It's actually funny that you mentioned the non-infused chocolate, because that is exactly what one of our audience members submitted a question about.
Oh, really?
So I'll read that now from Christina Murray on Reddit. Krista Murray 13, I'm so sorry. Her first question is, how much longer will the Blueberry Bliss bar be in season? I want it year round. It's amazing.
It used to be a year-round bar.
So there's demand for it.
Well, we saw the spikes, and
I
then
see.
So as we were doing some SKU rationalization, we thought we would just make that a seasonal bar. With the peach bar as well, we wanted to make them a little bit special. So you've got the pumpkin pie bar, you've got the firecracker bar for New Year's and 4th of July. So we still got some seasonal flavors that we like to just throw out there occasionally, and we like that. Kind of the exclusivity and the seasonality of those bars. So, but they're out right now. I mean, you can still
stock
up. You can still get them on the medical side. I think they're done on the adult use side, right? You can probably find some on the shelf somewhere.
Sure.
On the adult use side, but
Medical side, we do still have
medical
some.
side, we still got some.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if she has a medical card, we can tell you where to get it.
Yeah, and her second question is also, have you ever considered selling your chocolate bars without THC for those of us who love the flavor and want to eat more than 1 to 2 pieces at a time? I would buy, in all caps, so many.
Another thing that we have thought about on many occasions
is
one of the rules in this industry is you can't make uninfused products in an infused kitchen. So legally, we cannot do that from our kitchen. And then, we have been so busy on the THC side, right? We really don't have the bandwidth to just run another chocolate company and try to compete with Hershey's, right? But it's definitely been on our mind, and we appreciate the fact that these are great products. And what we've done, though, we've got some really low dose products, right, to allow people to do that. You've got your black cherry. We've got a single serve that's 10 milligrams, for the whole square. So we've done a few of those. A few of those products where you can consume more. We've got the mints and the tarts where they're 1 and 2 milligrams, so you can consume more of those. But when adult use started, we came out with a 25 milligram bar and a 50 milligram, and a 75 was our highest milligram, because at that time we wanted all the people coming back to cannabis and the adult use people to have a good range, right? Here, let me give you, you're brand new coming back to cannabis. Here's a 25 milligram bar, 2.5 milligrams a square, and still cut that in half.
Right.
Try it out, find your level, find your dose. And it very quickly it moved right to that 100 milligram, level for milligrams. And that's really where people wanted to be, right? And then they would, cut products as needed, if their tolerances were lower. But we tried that, and we still have a few remnants of that floating around, but we appreciate the fact that you like these chocolates uninfused, and you're going to be jealous, but I got to eat uninfused Nove chocolates for about a year and a half as I was, as we were testing the flavors.
Yeah, they weren't all good though. You're starting out,
they
were
all
bad,
pretty
but
good.
you're whittling down to what tastes the best.
We still get to eat a lot of uninfused
That's
chocolates.
true.
We're excited about these gummies. So the infused flavors just came out. They just went on sale on Friday. So our customers now who are carrying the Nove chocolates are starting to bring in these Nove gummies, and the people who've supported this line, we're giving them kind of the first opportunity to carry the gummies as well. But we sold out over the weekend. We launched them on Friday, and we were out today. So it's been a good weekend, and we're excited. And don't worry, we can make more. We're making more.
These
yes, thank you.
Yeah, from the dosing standpoint and whatnot, it's been quite interesting because as we started, we're medical, and we were you're talking about medicine, and it got to the point where the patients were having to consume a bar, 2 bars, and it got to the point where it's like, I can't do that.
You have other issues when you're eating 3
Right.
chocolate bars a day to get your medicine.
I can't eat
Oh, boy.
3 bars a day to get my dose. Can we increase the medicine so I don't have to eat as much and whatnot? And so it's been interesting because chocolate is again, research that our industry needs, but chocolate has been shown to be a very good delivery system of cannabis, of THC and cannabinoids, and I don't know why that is for 100%, but it seems to be that way. Obviously with more research we'll find other ways that are maybe more efficient, but right now being able to do that, you've got a delivery system that comes with sugar and other things that you want to be wary of. So it got to build up to that 1,000 milligram, piece where we had 50 milligram portions or 100 milligram portions where somebody can take a very small amount. And now 11 years later, on the recreational side, there seems to be this, kind of, shift to wanting to get something smaller dose and eat a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
well, people like microdose, and
yeah,
the more microdose products that we bring out, a lot of people realize I only need 2 milligrams.
Sure.
I only need 3 milligrams. I don't, just a little to take the edge off in the evening. And, we went from, hey, cannabis is legal to, oh my God, I am going to consume a lot of cannabis. And now people went, okay, I'm kind of done being there, and I've grown up a little bit. And it's like, where are my levels? Can I just have a glass of wine a night, right? Can I just have 2 milligrams? Where is that level where I can take that and really kind of get me to where I need to be? And we have those products, right? We have 1 milligram products where you can find your level. And you'll know, heck, 3 milligrams is really, that's a great level for me. If I really want to go tear it up for an evening, I might go to 8 or 9, or, but knowing that, and that's all part of education, right? And we all did that as kids with alcohol, right? It was all trial and error. You saw people and you were so familiar with alcohol growing up, and, everybody snuck a drink here and there. And, by the time you could legally drink, you kind of knew where your limit was for most people. And we're going to get that way with cannabis, right? People are going to understand what their limits are, and people are going to have this innate education, especially now that kids are growing up with cannabis in the household. They're going to see it consumed safely, and they're going to know, okay, when I get to be 21, that these are the products I want to try, and these are the levels that I should be trying it at. And just like with alcohol, it's not going to be so taboo where you're out over consuming behind the bushes, right? Because it's illegal. It's a product that you can use safely, and it shouldn't be taboo. It shouldn't be hidden. And there's still that stigma even now, but it's getting better. It's getting a lot better. You see the acceptance rates growing, and especially for medical, I think we're up in the 80 percentile range now for people across the U.S. who think medical cannabis should be legal. That's crazy if you think about where we were 10 years ago. And even for just adult use, I think we're up to 65%. So most of the country, either they want to consume or they think it should be legal.
Well, I mean, the craziest thing is just in the world of cancer, and over my 11 years, the amount of people that I have met that are still standing, breathing, living with cancers that they were told would kill them within a matter of months. And simple consumption of cannabis has given them life. And so from that standpoint, it's just it's kind of mind-boggling to look at this plant, this product, as something that's tremendously detrimental. And the research is what we need. And we are starting to get more of it, but it's still an issue considering its classification and what's going on. So that's, for me, is, we need more research as to what is happening and what's going on. Right now, we've got people out there that take edibles and let us know, I don't get anything from edibles. I don't feel anything. And so they talk about this enzyme that you have or you don't have, and if you don't have it, you don't process, the THC to delta 9, and so you don't feel the effect. But those people feel the effect when they smoke. And so, for me, it's hard for me to accept that this person's still not getting a benefit from it just because they don't have this enzyme that transfers the THC, right? There's other things that are going on, and I assume that they are getting a benefit from that. We just don't know what it is right now, because it's not that tangible feeling that you would get from taking, something that's like, oh yeah, I feel that.
What's a vitamin?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's like taking your regular medicine when you don't get high, you get the relief. You get a headache, you take an aspirin, the headache goes away, you don't get high from it or anything, it just takes care of what it takes care of. And for me, cannabis has been that, for many years, where my consumption just takes care of my ailments. I'm not, mentally incapacitated. I'm not, in a state of mind where I can't comprehend things. I can't make good decisions. That's not the case. But, the medical issues that I have, you know, it takes care of them.
Absolutely. I personally, for a while, I think was self-medicating my ADHD with cannabis, and for me, it felt as though I was using him as to meet everyone else where they were. It wasn't though I was, getting intoxicated because I wanted to do this or that. I was trying to like hang out with my friends and watch a movie and feel regular, and I really resonate with that. It can be like that sort of medicine, which now I'm taking real medicine for, but it was in that way.
And therein, like you just said,
real medicine.
You're gonna take real medicine. This is real medicine.
It is absolutely real medicine.
We don't. But
I was like prescribed medicine then.
Right?
Yes.
But we don't. That's just it. Is we don't have that research behind it now to say, and that's one of the things that we need.
Absolutely.
Because we're going through this trial and error basis, and we don't know where we need to be. I mean, our father right now is battling prostate cancer, and we have very tangible evidence that it is working, from a PSA level standpoint. His PSA was very high when it was discovered. It came down a tremendous amount, more so than doctors ever would have imagined with what they did. But over the course of the last few years in his treatment, he has gone off of cannabis. Every time he's gone off, that PSA level has risen. Every time he's gone back on it, that PSA level has gone down. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, that's the research right there. That's it.
I mean, that right there.
Clinical trial, that's what it is.
Right, and so, but we don't have, any kind of, knowledge base now for us to say, okay, well, he needs to be on this level of this, to maintain where he's at. Or if you're looking to kill a tumor, then you need to go up to this level in order to kill it, and then you can come down. I mean, those are the things that we need to figure out so that we can truly better, help and treat people. Because right now we're just, we're kind of doing it on our own, and while we're seeing a lot of people, get saved, we are still losing people. And, and it's frustrating that, maybe it's because we didn't give them enough.
There's a lot of families that we deal with, on a personal level, and I tell them, you guys are the experts, right? You have been controlling your child's seizures with cannabis for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, right? Where this child goes into the doctor's office and he's the only one playing in the lobby because all the other kids are in wheelchairs, or they're on the narcotics that they're on are keeping them from being functional, right? And I've been told by one family the doctor is in tears watching what this, and it's like, but you're still not telling. You're not telling all those other kids sitting out there what this kid is doing because you're afraid for your license. But these families are the miracle, right? We make a product, they turn it into a miracle, and what they're doing with it, they're screaming from the rooftops, right? And they are helping people everywhere, right? The people who will listen and the people who look, and we've had so many people, come to this state. There's one patient, Nova, who we've been helping for a little while, but she's got a social media following. So all of these other kids with the same sort of condition have been coming to Colorado because of what she did. And I tell her, Mom, you're the expert. Right? The doctors aren't the expert. You are. You have figured this out. You have gotten these levels. So I'm sending these people to you. Right? I'm not sending them to a doctor. I want you to talk to them. I can't talk to them, but you can tell them firsthand experience. And once again, it might not work exactly for their child, but they're helping with this research and development by letting us know what works and doesn't. There's a group we work with called Leaf 411, who's an online nurses network, and they're starting to generate a whole bunch of data. When people come to us asking for medical advice, we steer them there. So we said, look, these are actual trained cannabis nurses, and they're talking to hundreds of patients a month, and they're gonna know what you're dealing with. They're gonna make some good recommendations, and they can make some recommendations. So if anybody has questions, leave 411, go online, find their number. You can talk to a trained cannabis nurse for free. And tell them what issues you're having, and they will steer you in the right direction. And we are all part of the change, and we're all part of the R&D right now, right? We are the trial. The people who are treating their ADHD, and you know, I look back and that's what I was doing as well, you know, because I grew up consuming cannabis, and you know, at the time, I just whatever, I'm just a kid smoking pot, but when I look back, I'm like, no, my body knew I needed it, and it put me where I needed to be to function and to get over that ADHD and that anxiety and all the things I was dealing with as, you know, as a child, until I could, you know, figure some things out on my own. But when you look back, of course I was medicating myself. And, you know, and that's where we are even today. There are medicinal values. It's not necessarily for everybody. But if you have some issues, you can probably solve some of those issues with a cannabis product.
Right. And we're in need of more resources like Leaf 411. You know, to you know, for people to be able to, you know, have a little bit of a roadmap. I mean, because ultimately, right now we are flying blind, and we've got some people that have some vision, you know, that have been doing it for a long time. You know, and so that helps.
Just kind of as a final thought, final question, if you wanted to correct any misconceptions or leave the listeners' audience with any words of wisdom.
Well, first, I mean, can we just, I think we kind of mentioned our new brands, but
yes,
I mean, can we just go through those again quickly so people know?
Please.
You know, we're a company called Medically Correct, right? We manufacture the Incredibles brand here in Colorado. We manufacture a brand called Nove, which is high-end filled chocolates and super yummy plant-based gummies. We do a fast-acting suite of products called Quick, which is a fast-acting chocolate. It's a fast-acting gummy. It's a fast-acting tincture. It is a fast-acting topical, and I think we're the only company audited here in the state to do a suppository still.
On the medical side,
we've had a cannabis suppository forever, which we've supplied to patients, and it was off the market for a little while because they made new rules and regulations about it. But we have passed a third-party audit where we can now make cannabis suppositories again. And you know, when we talk about my father's cancer, right? That's he is using a cannabis suppository to keep that in check. You know, it is a medical product and it's wonderful. We've got our brand of extracts called Clear Creek Extracts, and we've got, you know, live resin and shatter products. We've got vape pens.
Didn't mean to interrupt, but as a side note on the Quick product, just wanted to talk a little bit more about that. With the Quick product, right, it is a melding of our industry and a little bit of the pharmaceutical industry. And what we found, you know, that this, you know, product is used quite a bit in the pharmaceutical industry in terms of efficiency, efficacy of the medicine, and making it, you know, more efficient for the user. And this actually is doing the exact same thing. We're finding out that, you know, on average, you know, person will absorb 1.5 milligrams of a 10 milligram dose of a normal type of edible. Now with the introduction of this this emulsifier into the Quick products, we find that absorption can be 3 to 4 times that. So you're now absorbing, you know, 6 to 7, you know, milligrams of that 10 milligram dose, which makes things, you know, a bit different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So from that standpoint, you might take a little bit less because it's going to give you an effect of probably twice as much as what you're used to.
And it's faster.
And
it's a faster absorption, it's a fuller absorption, and then it dissipates faster as well. So, you know, it moves through your system a little quicker than, you know, it's going to be great for consumption lounges, you know, like here, because, you know, you can consume it here and you're feeling the effects in 15 to 20 minutes, and then, you know, an hour and a half to 2 hours later, you're coming back down. You know, we've described it for like concerts. You know, normally you eat a chocolate piece in the parking lot and it's just hitting you as you're leaving. Right? You know, because it took 2 hours for it to kick in. But you know, these products are going to be great for people who want to control the effects and have that control be in you know, in their hands a little bit more. So you really, you know, we find the people who like these products love these products.
but that's it. It is fast acting, but it's also it's much more efficient, and so you are absorbing more of the medicine than you do normally, and so you do want to, not necessarily take the same amount.
Test your levels again.
Absolutely.
Because
Right.
You might find that it might be a little bit more than what you're used to. So yeah, it's I think, one of the questions I think we were talking about is where do we see the industry going? And I think obviously with more research, that's one of the things that we'll probably see where we're incorporating some of that stuff to make things more efficient. And then with that efficiency, you're gonna have to kind of adjust your level again. But that's a good thing. I mean, we're trained and to take a pill,
Right.
to take medicine, and just because it's in chocolate doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be different. So you can take that chocolate.
Everybody
pill.
takes vitamin gummies.
Yeah,
Everybody is used to taking
Yeah.
their medicine or vitamins in alternative forms now.
Right.
So
And
that's
this
really
is-
what we do.
And
It's
it's
just
the
the same.
same.
Yeah.
It's the same way. It's just it's a chocolate pill
Right.
instead of a
Yeah.
bitter, nasty pill you don't want to have in your mouth.
So back to the rest of the brands. So we've got
Yeah.
Clear Creek extracts. We've got vape cartridges. We've got a new duo cartridge, which is a two-sided cartridge. So you've got two different flavors, two different strains in that cartridge. I think it just won Product of the Year over the summer from Rooster.
That's amazing.
There's 2.5 gram reservoirs,
Yeah,
so it
it's
gives
really
you a
cool.
full gram in one unit.
You can go on Clear Creek Extracts. You can go on quickeffects.com to see Quick. You can go into Novea's Luxury. Medicallycorrect.com is our parent website that takes you to all of our brands. And then we've got the Zelo brand hopefully launching here in the next couple of months. But that's who we are, and that's where we're going. We feel that's kind of the way the industry is going as well, obviously, since we're hoping we're leading the way a bit.
You certainly are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We try to do the right thing.
yeah, words of wisdom.
You just
do the right thing.
keep doing the right thing, and good things will come.
That's right. Just want to keep helping people.
Absolutely. I think that's a great place to leave off. Well, thank you so much to Bob and Tom from Incredibles and Medically Correct and many other brands.
Many other brands.
For coming to talk to us today. Please go check out their stuff. It is fantastic and it's only getting better.
Thank you.
And yeah, I hope everyone has gotten a little more highly educated. So thank you so much.
Hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you,
Yes,
everyone.
please.